everybody. How's it going out there in La La Land or wherever you're tuning in from? It's an overcast Thursday, July 16th, quarter 1 p.m. Pacific time. Hope you guys are hanging in there, hanging tough for the week. Looking forward to your weekend plans and all that garbage. I got an interesting topic for you guys today. Tell me what you think. Sound off in the chat. No response is too stupid as long as you're kind to everyone in chat. You could say whatever you want to me. Um, that's my rule because great friendships are made by sweet people in my chat, and it's a thing that keeps people coming back for more. So even when I'm self-conscious and I'm not on my game, you guys make up for it. Talk about your meatloaf recipes and your gardening and your crocheting, and it's just so cute. So let me put the link. You may ask. This is your show. You can ask whatever you want. I do that as a courtesy because sometimes I get off track and then I get really frustrated and I start bashing my head against the wall. So I'll give you a little history. I got a lot of new viewers. At least 70% of my subs on this channel are brand new. I used to have a much bigger channel. I had 2.7K subs. And I got into it because I was a big part of the Discord and there was a lot of promotion, but I mostly just talked. I had a broken iPhone 8 Plus. It worked half the time, but the cell tower that I was next to burned to the ground in the California fires. So my Wi-Fi left a lot to be desired, but people loved it. I got really popular, good promotion. I did a lot of topics, dating disaster stories, but I mostly just talked to the chat and was courteous and cool. I got way more popular than I ever could have imagined, and I wasn't necessarily ready for it emotionally. Now, I thought I liked it. Looking back with my therapist kind of like pulling apart the framework. But they said, Maddie, don't change. You're the most honest, sweetest guy on here. But I totally changed. I didn't listen to their advice. And it was such a subtle chipping away process, that God was using on me. And I didn't even notice it when I was in the midst of it. And reflecting back, hindsight 2020, I was like, what the heck was I thinking? And I let a lot of people down. Meanwhile, I have hundreds of women on here that trust me with all their secrets. It's so cute and it's so sweet, and I take that very seriously. I would never go against that or do anything to diminish that trust. That being said, I have made some mistakes and said and done things on here that I regret and have since apologized for, but some people haven't forgiven me. It's tough because, like, I never pat myself on the back. I never say, oh, I'm such a good person. I let other people say that for me on my behalf, if in fact that's what they feel. You don't have to kiss my ass when you come in here. This is a place where we just have nice discussions, and it's just a fun place for sweet people. But at the same time, I've lacked a lot of feedback growing up. I was homeschooled and abused, and I had really bad 20s and 30s. So I'm kind of used to the abuse. I could take everything with a grain of salt. At the same time, I aspire to more just for the heck of it. But with my ADHD, sometimes I'll start projects and not finish it. Sometimes I'll make a date to collaborate with someone and I'll leave them hanging and I won't realize it till the last minute, and I get really upset about that. So I thank you guys for sticking with me, my OGs and my freaks and real ones. If you're new to this channel, we mostly do music now. I have a couple specialty topics that I do, but I try not to break off more than I can chew. Some things are purely experimental, like my ASMR streams or my barbecues or my workout streams or my product reviews. Check out my playlist because I'm much better in small dosages. Most people are like that. But I do this for a challenge. I do it for therapy, and I want to see what's on your guys' minds. So let me know if I'm off base or if I'm right on or whatever. What else? But some people are afraid of me because I'm really tall. I don't think I'm that intimidating. I don't talk a bunch of trash or talk tough on here like you guys do. When I say you guys, I mean a lot of people I've seen. But it can rub off on you. It starts out innocent. You go into a chat, you feel like you're part of the group. You're letting loose some great one-liners and jokes, and then you feel like you're participating more than you are, like you're being acknowledged more. But it's such a simple thing. Anyone can get on here and feel like they're part of it. So I must have been going through some really lonely times. I mean, some of you guys are still trapped in the cesspool or the tide pool, and you can't get out. Because the drama is so addicting, it seeps into your blood even when you don't realize it. Um, in some ways, it's kind of a new phenomenon. When I first came to YouTube, I'm like, well, this will probably be a good sampling of the general population, people from all ages and backgrounds and philosophies. Boy, was I wrong. It's a lot of criminals. It's a lot of creeps and freaks. People grooming, doing unspeakable things in between, bringing up people's kids, just all this creepy stuff that I could have never anticipated. So I'd have some people here that I thought were nice, and I even gave wrenches, and it turns out they were just grooming me, telling me what I wanted to hear. Meanwhile, they participated in the topics, they had good insight. So I was like, I didn't feel like researching everybody that came into my channel. It just seemed like kind of a waste. But maybe that's on me. Anyway, so I got to this peak where I'd have 30 to 100 women every stream I did, no matter what, and they would all vie for my attention. And here's the thing: they all got along beautifully, which is weird. I know women get jealous of each other's even more than guys do. But they were so harmonious. They built everybody up in my channel. They were sharing their meatloaf recipes. It was the cutest thing ever. And then I lost my channel because I got a third-party copyright strike from playing Saturday Night Live. And I thought it was fair use. I was talking over it. I thought, I only played like maybe 12 seconds of a clip, an old Chris Farley routine. And I thought that was good. Where is this forbidden list of content that you can't use? I don't know. I'm old. So I have to like try things for myself and stick my hand in the fire before I get burned sometimes. I can't just read about something and envision myself doing it. I have to pour myself in. I'm like that with everything in life. I've done lots of different apprenticeship programs. I couldn't just like show up for class on the first day, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and be like, yeah, yeah. I had to like immerse myself in it fully and personally. So, so yeah, so then during that time, and even now, guys would be like, the women would praise me wherever I went. Every channel I went, I would instantly get a wrench. Well, not instantly, like day 2 or 3. And then I was like, wow, that's kind of cool, I guess. But I'm very supportive. I don't do anything for personal gain to a fault, right? I just want to encourage people in any way I can because I've had such a rough life and it's so hard to keep my mind straight. But so I built up this whole thing, and then the women would say to the guys in chat, like, "Oh, I love Maddie. He's the cutest. He's the sweetest." Like, yeah, he's gay. And they would all just say the same thing. And I thought that was the greatest thing I'd ever heard. They just wanted to put me in this category so they didn't have to deal with me in reality, which is kind of brilliant, but also very passive, aggressive, and stupid, right? They just wanted to simplify the equation. So like, oh, he's gay, he's gay. So meanwhile, their girlfriends were flirting with me. Their wives were hitting on me. And I didn't want to say anything. I'm just over here blushing, just doing my thing. These women pursued me. I never, some guys like the thrill of the hunt. And when I'm actually looking for a girlfriend, I like to go through the proper steps and all that stuff. But it just all kind of landed in my lap, so to speak. And I was getting all these Discord invites, but then I'd get in there and they'd have this hate room dedicated to someone I've never heard of or never want to hear of. And they all just try to like hate bond and steer you to a certain way. And just fill your head up with all this garbage. And it's just crazy, So we have to think about these things. But I was going through the loneliest time of my life. I was so easily flattered. But these women were voracious and ferocious, but totally sweet. They weren't, they didn't ask me for any money. They asked me for some nudes. That's another story. But I was like, okay. But then I must have let it get to my head or something. When I started the new channel, I thought, well, now I know what I'm doing a little more. I'll get all the subs I had plus more, and I'll start doing more quality content. Well, I had a falling out with my medication, and my brain was just scrambled. I started smoking tons of weed. I started just getting paranoid and crazy, just to try to balance my nervous system. And it really took its toll on me, and I started to get more socially awkward and not go on panels as much as anymore. And I just wasn't as talkative as I was. I dropped out of all the discords, so people thought I wasn't friendly. But I was just dealing with all this emotional stuff, and I didn't have a lot of real, genuine friends to turn to during this time. People count on me for a good time to make them happy, but then when the bottom falls out in my life, I don't know where to turn to, and I'm too kind to elevate myself in any way where I can get the help I need. Does that make sense? Um, I try to talk it through, but sometimes I just talk myself into a corner. And I'm trying to make it a cul-de-sac where I can turn around and just process my pain instead of like swimming and dwelling in it. So, you guys have any questions? I just said a mouthful. What else can I tell you? Check the analytics real quick. Yay. But yeah, so it's very conflicting. On one hand, I earned their respect fair and square and organically. On the other hand, it was too much popularity for me to process. Everywhere I went, the women were worshiping me. I'm like, what the frick is going on? I've never been like that in my life. I've had a lot of women pursue me when I was in bands in my 20s, auditioning for bands. I played in a punk band. I played in a fairly popular grunge band in California. But that was more like groupies and stuff, and it wasn't as, it's kind of wishy-washy and flaky and stuff. But here, I don't know. So you guys tell me. I liked it. Half of my brain liked it, or at least appreciated it, and the other half was just kind of skeeved out and kind of like hard to process. I like to fit in more or less. I don't like to be elevated. I don't even like to be complimented when I do deserve it because of the way I was raised and all the abuse I had to get through growing up. So, if my words can help even a half a person or one person, I know I've done my job. But my heart wasn't so pure from day one. Now I would say I've dated several women on YouTube. I don't recommend it. It should not be used as a dating service. I'm not like a pessimistic person. Obviously, you guys know. I try to find the good in everybody and everything to a fault. But some things are just, that's a weird over analytical thing that didn't really pay off for me. Um, but it's so hard because you come across a stream, somebody's screaming at someone, but they're doing it in the funniest possible way. And they're using all these articulations and simile and metaphor and funny verbiage. And you're like, okay, this is funny. And then you say something witty in the comments or whatever, and you're acknowledged. And then people are like, oh, you're cool, blah, 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 blah. And it starts a dumb cycle. The whole idea of interactive entertainment is kind of dangerous, but it seems neutral at first. It's like, when I watched Seinfeld in my 20s and 30s, I didn't need to interact with the show just to enjoy it. But here it's like everyone's a rejected sitcom character, and it's funny, it's intriguing. Everybody loves to hear somebody fight, even if they don't admit it. It either reminds them of something familiar, or it just makes them go, what in the world? But it's not what they were saying, it's the way they were saying it that I'd never heard that in my life. Now, I come from a pretty chaotic background with some fighting and stuff, but it took me away from my pain while still being this very real and visceral type of a thing. So that's how I justified it. Now I realize I don't need everyone in the drama communities to worship me just because I'm relatively nice and they're not used to kindness. I mean, that's really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I need to just put out my stuff and just let it be organic. I need to learn how to promote eventually, if I wasn't so nice. I'm going to need a manager, but we don't talk politics or sports on here. I appreciate you weighing in on that, but I don't follow that stuff. I'm not even registered to vote, so I'm a very stupid hippie musician. I don't know any of that. I'm an English major and a music minor, so sometimes I could put a sentence together. I have no opinion on that stuff. Like I said, I've never voted in my life, and I'm 44, so that tells you all you need to know. Yeah, questions, comments, critiques, I could take it all. Just be kind to each other. And try to get more mileage out of this life. But yeah, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's very strange because the weirdest part is my haters the whole time, they never checked out my channel. They were always too jealous. Now, had they looked into it, they would have found something they liked. Everybody likes my music no matter what they think of me, because I do comedy songs for people to brighten their day. I do great 10-second shorts and covers. I'm not the best in the world, but I think I'm competent and I'm competitive. And I haven't played in 10 years, but now I'm just starting to get better. So it's a good way to spend my time. But I suck at promotion because I'm an empath and I don't like to promote myself. I don't like to be selfish, and I just don't know how to do it. Um, I'm like, well, the word will spread and people will join. But even some of my best friends on and offline, they're like, "You play guitar? What? That's a novelty." I'm like, "What? What do you mean? Haven't I talked about it before?" They're like, "No, what the f?" So sometimes I just don't know how I come across, and it's really sad because I need feedback to live. And all my friends and family have moved away. They're all married with their white picket fences and their zillion kids and all that. I get together for barbecues, but I can't relate to their long-winded stories. I get antsy. I want to go run my marathon, do my workouts, write my songs, work in my yard, do all that stuff. So anyway, I'm conflicted about it. And I know describing the story, it's like one of those things you would have had to be there. And believe me, there's millions of people that will confirm everywhere I'm saying is true. Not millions, but dozens and dozens and dozens. Um, but it is kind of sad. uh, I don't know if I wish my haters would have seen me in all my glory just to make them more jealous, but I don't have that in my heart. But if they did see that, they would have unalived themselves. They would have been, or maybe they knew it the whole, yeah, I think they knew it the whole time and they just wanted to say I was gay so they wouldn't have to deal with the embarrassment. But I'm not here to say I'm better looking than anyone or better. If it helps my haters, my life is so crazy. The struggles I have to deal with every day. If I'm semi good looking, that's a small price to pay for everything else. Looks are not everything, but I never wanted to go live without a camera because I want people to connect with facial expressions. I'm self-conscious of the way I look, but it's the only face God gave me, and I want to use it to His glory and just use it to communicate properly. So it's a very practical reason for that. And I think especially guys that use AI filters, that is really weird. Women, I understand. There's so much societal pressure to look good. Almost every woman on here that hasn't used a filter yet, she will use it and learn to use it within the month. I mean, that's just how it goes now. But a guy that does it, that's kind of feminine. Then again, when I genuinely start getting wrinkles, I might freak out too. I've had this baby face since I was a baby, and I actually look better now than I did in my 20s. My skin's glowing, it's tightening up. Look at that. Does that look like a 44-year-old? I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah, somebody's like, well, I did a couple AI videos just for fun, and they made me look like I was 70 years old, and I just left it because it was funny. And then somebody was like, yeah, even AI can't fix your busted ass nose and your wrinkly forehead and your something something. I don't know what it was, but I'm like, wow, this person, it feels so bad about themselves they have to attack someone else, and that's their way of coping. That is such an embarrassment. And what do you guys think about that? Do 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 do. They're crazy, crazy. But yeah, so pretty interesting. And then, because I'm a channel for everybody, I attract a lot of dudes that are, because mostly guys play guitar and do comedy songs and stuff like that. But women love me because I'm sweet. I can be engaging and entertaining when I want to be. I tell funny dating disaster stories and anecdotes. But my music's fun. I take requests. I bounce off the chat. I don't ignore anyone. But then the women would be like, you should check out Maddie's channel. He's so talented and cool. And they'd be like, nah, he's gay. or what else would they say? They were terrified. Oh, they'd say, "Oh, I'm worried he'd flirt with me." Well, one, I'm not gay, and two, don't flatter yourself because I wouldn't flirt with you even if I was. The way some of you guys are looking out here. Now, I also have a responsibility as a good-looking guy. I can't just throw apples from my high tree the whole time. That would be horrible. Um, you know what I mean? And looks are nothing. But if I go after people that are just ugly, that would be horrible because they can't do anything to change their face, but I could do something to change my behavior and my attitude. So, but yeah, it's so funny. But when I started the channel, I didn't think there'd be that controversy. I thought just guys and gals would just come together if they were interested in the topic. I didn't know how the algorithm worked. I'm still sorting through all that stuff, and they change the rules all the time. What would you do if you were out in public and someone came up to you and said, "You look like you drink milk with your dinner," and then just walked away? I would cry into my raisin bran and my milk. Um, that's funny. I don't think I'd have a reaction. I wouldn't say anything. I'd just be sitting there. What were they aiming for? But that's not really an insult. That just means they think I'm a mild mannered soy boy milk drinker. And I think that's a compliment. Whenever somebody says I'm gay on here, I take it as a compliment. They're trying to trigger me, which in 2026, I don't understand. I thought everyone was basically gay, 70% of the population. But they do that to put me in a category because they don't want their girlfriends flirting with me. It's so convenient. And I think that's pretty clever. I'm not even trashing them for that. I think that's great. Like, I would probably do the same thing if I was insecure. Can you imagine somebody's talking you up to somebody else? They're like, "Oh, he's Maddie. He's so great and talented. He does the most hilarious songs and backflips and dances and blah, 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 blah." Like, "Oh, he's gay. I heard he's gay. He might flirt with me." And that just shuts down the conversation right then with that one sentence. I mean, how insecure and one dimensional and stupid do you have to be? I'm a fun loving guy. I try to put a smile on people's faces through my silly little songs. I know they're not the best, but, a lot of people enjoy them. My average shorts for my acoustic songs are between 500 and 2,000, and I get that within the first hour of uploading it. Well, this month I kind of fell back after I got my strike. Shadow banning is a real thing for all you new creators on there. YouTube can kind of hide your channel as far as promoting it, and then after a couple weeks, you can put out the exact same content, literally, and it'll get 10 times the views, sometimes 20 to 50 times. So stick with it, but sometimes it's frustrating because it's not always I just wanted to make it so it was worth my time. Like before, I would write an original script, no AI, for my topical streams, and I try to just do 10 minutes of pure fodder. But I'm not good at that naturally. I wanted to do it as a challenge, but the streams would only get 10 views, and then I'd go live with a workout stream and it'd get 500 views in like a half hour. I'm like well, I didn't know how to process that. Like, obviously views aren't everything, but if the gap is that big, and I know a lot of people are just thumbing through, they'll just tune in, tune out, like the looky-loos that peep in and out of the channel. And when you hit the algorithm, it's good because it exposes people to your channel that are just passing through, and they wouldn't normally seek out the content, so you have a chance to win more people over. It's pretty cool. At the same time, and I forget to do this too, and I forget to tell people, whenever you subscribe to someone, if you want to be notified when they go live, you have to click the notification bell and set it to all, because the default setting is personalized and you'll never get a notice if you do it that way. Yes, I'm circumcised. That's a great question. See, I don't care if you guys don't stick to the topic. I like people, and I want to be more open-minded. That's funny. Naked beekeeper, that would hurt. I know a beekeeper gal on here. She said one of her bees just like, they do everything by instinct. But then all it takes is one bee to whisper in the other bee's ear, "Let's blow this popsicle stand," and they'll all just relocate to somewhere randomly uh, while seemingly content, just doing their thing day to day. Do I own guns? I plead the fifth on that one. And why do you ask? Um, I mean, I own these. Fully loaded, locked and loaded, ready for action. But yeah, I think it's a story worth telling. But here's the bottom line. I've seen the highest highs and the lowest lows. I have like nothing to show for it except my stories. But just stay humble, you guys. If you find yourself shooting up to popularity on here or somewhere else, or you find that winning lottery ticket, don't let it change your core beliefs and attitude. God can flatten you back down on a moment's notice if he wants to, And so, yeah, it was the greatest thing in the world being that popular, even though it's just on YouTube. I had a wrench everywhere I went. I was promoted everywhere I went. Women just threw themselves at me. And I'm just like an average Joe. I mean, I was in several fairly popular bands, but I've just worked a lot of random jobs in random states and, just like handyman jobs, blue collar stuff, customer service, different restaurants. So here I have more of a voice. If I choose to use it properly, I want to encourage you guys with it. Come to my Bible studies if it's your thing. We do it once a week. We're trying to do it every day. Trying to cut back on the wacky tobacco. It was limiting me in some ways, making me want to crash in the middle of the day. So, trying to figure all that out. But yeah, I'm not doing the random hangout streams like I used to. Everything has some type of a focus and a topic. If you guys think it's going to make me less personable, no, I'm actually in a better mood now. And you could still ask whatever random questions you want in chat. All my old rules still apply. It's just me maturing and becoming brighter or better or whatever. Better. What do you guys think? Am I full of poo-poo? Am I a piece of poo-poo? But yeah. But sometimes I don't know how to read the room. And I just came across this Charlie Z Penguin, whatever. You guys probably know who it is. One of the most famous YouTubers, millions and millions of views. And I just the first thing I noticed was he had the greasiest, most disgusting hair I've ever seen. And I looked and I saw where that was alluded to, but people were kind of sidestepping it. They were trying to be nice about it, but other people were calling him out. Meanwhile, he has got this huge mob of lemming followers and fans. So I'm like, okay, let's have some fun with this. So I said, has this YouTuber ever taken a shower before? The jury's still out, which is 100% true, right? 110% true. But then I tried to even make it be nice. I said, wow, I just found one of his recent videos where it looks like he used Pantene Pro V because he's got this full body, shiny, healthy, clean looking hair for the first time I'd ever seen. And I point that out, and people just went nuts. Like, you son of a bleep. You take your hat off. You probably don't even have any hair. How dare you? That's our Lord and Savior. We've been worshiping him for 15 years on here. Blah, blah, blah. Somebody's like, dude, he literally works for a soap company. I said, if that's true, that's so ironic and funny. I haven't researched that yet. But the point is, and then they were like, is this just rage bait? People are so dumb. They didn't even read the title. They didn't even watch the video. They just wanted to call me a piece of crap and have this reactionary approach. It's so close-minded and it's so impulsive, Why would, that's crazy. Like, if you want to come at me and disagree, at least use some of your little tiny mayonnaise incel brain. If you want to step up to the plate with the big boys, you know what I mean? You got to come correct. But if I sound stuck up, it's only because I'm trying to be a little more assertive. Before I was just very, oh, wait, Mr. Rogers, mamby-pamby. So people put all this faith and stock into me to make them feel better at a moment's notice. Meanwhile, my head was caving in and I was having all these emotional disorders and problems. So I'm here for you guys. I've been through it all. You can always ask me anything, especially behind the scenes. I'm super nice. On here, I never know what I'm going to be like. But I tried to present myself as I am, for better, worse, and neutral, and you guys can decide. But some people were terrified of me when they found out I'm 6'9". Like, oh shit. Like, well, I don't want to comment. He's just gonna block me. Nobody gets blocked or even timed out here unless they say pedo stuff or racist stuff. That's basically my only two rules. So then, that being said, I had a rogue mod that was hiding my best friends and all my OG supporters. Someone told me how to check my Google block list, and when I did, I saw like 100 people in there. So I took all the wrenches. I'm never giving them back, even though I like you guys to feel special. But I'll figure out a different way of rewarding you, not monetarily. But I don't have any money right now. I can't even donate plasma. So I'm hoping to get an occasional $20 dono via Cash App and try to fix my PayPal account and get that up and running. But yeah, what else? Questions, comments, critiques. I'll just open the floor to you guys. We only got 3 people watching now. That's about 30 less than I normally have. But I still appreciate you guys. It is tough because I'm approaching 100 years old. And sometimes I feel like I don't have much to show for it, you know. But if I can encourage and help you guys, it's awesome. So I think I told my story pretty well. Hopefully I didn't get off track too many times and I kept it kind of concise and to the point. It's up to you. 28 views. So I'm averaging a view per minute. That's okay. But yeah, my topical streams for the last 2 weeks were getting 2 or 3 views, and they're probably from me. But I work hard on a lot of those streams. I'd appreciate some feedback one way or the other. Just say, don't quit your day job, you suck, and I'll be like, great, you know. But there's some things I do that are purely experimental, and I never know if they're good or not unless you guys tell me, because they weren't part of my wheelhouse before in my 20s and 30s. They're just things that God's laid on my mind and my heart now to try out. So if they suck, believe me, I'm cool with that. You know. So what I'm trying to do, I'm taking 10 things that I do fairly well and trying to consolidate them into 4 or 5 things. Ultimately, I'd like to just do 3 things really well on here. But every time you add variety, it throws off the algorithm, no matter how good the thing is that you're taking on. I could put out the greatest topical stream in the world, and because the algorithm considers this a guitar channel, it might not promote it the right way. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, the people that want to find it will. But that's not how the algorithm works. It's you know, I always wondered, like, if you have a channel and all your videos suck, but you have one viral video, does that motivate the algorithm to push you out more? Or do they take other factors in, like consistency of quality, how long the channel's been around, your watch hours, all that stuff? I think they do. Anyway, but yeah, come to our karaoke and concert streams. Everybody loves them. They're lightweight, fun. We goof around. We do a lot of funny stuff. I'm preparing for that now. So within the next 30 minutes to 2 hours, I'll have that set up. Thank you guys for participating. Last chance questions, comments, critiques, insults. I can take it all. Just be good to each other in chat. That is all I ask of you. Yay. I'm having fun. I'm going loco mente, having fun. I'm having loco mente. But yeah. But that's my only rant. I'm sorry about the whole people count on me to be kind and they can't even be kind back. I really had a mental health falling out. I didn't have anyone else to turn to. And I didn't want to come on here and talk about it every day or whatever. I didn't want to bring anyone else down. I didn't want to, you know, it's crazy. Like, I could make you guys think I'm the biggest hotshot, regular, famous person ever, and you would believe it. But that wouldn't do me any good because I need an outlet for my little precious fifis when they start crumbling. All right, guys. I'll see you on these YouTube streets. Like and subscribe. Click the bell notification. Set it to all. That's the most important part. So when I go live in any capacity, you'll be there to support. Now check out my playlist. Find something you like. There's a little something for everyone. There's so many categories. If you're confused, I don't blame you. But it's just what represents me and my flighty ADHD brain. Um, we try to talk about spectrum related topics to help you guys deal with life skills and stuff. Yeah, but I'd like to have streams set up throughout the week that I can plan and fulfill. But right now, I'm just doing things on a day to day basis because I don't know when inspiration is going to strike, and I don't know when my brain's just going to start shutting down. I was smoking a lot of nug for a while, trying to balance it. But what would happen? It would rev me up creatively. I'd get silly and start exercising, dancing, and playing concerts. But then I'd have a big crash, and I'm having memory problems and stuff. So hopefully I'll be able to sleep at night. I got my new appetite meds. I'll pick them up tomorrow. That should help. But my doctor said they conflict with my sleeping meds, so I'll have to cancel one to keep another one going, maybe. We'll see how it goes. Keep praying for me, guys. Come to the Bible studies if it's your thing. Come to the acoustic hangout streams. They're not intimidating, stuffy concerts. They're completely interactive. I'm 1,000 times more entertaining than I am on these streams. If you like any type of music, it's a blast. Even when I screw up the songs, I'll smash my guitar and go crazy, and that's even kind of fun to watch. So show up if you want to support a struggling musician who's getting back into it after a long break. And let's see what we can do. Hey now. Yeah, I open it up, shredding along this. I'm backing tracks on electric guitar, and then I switch to acoustic and do the singer-songwriter thing. I'm incorporating more songs from the 2000s because somebody yelled at me about that the other day. Most of my stuff is from the 90s. It's kind of my era because I'm in my mid-40s. So, when is the interview with Longneck scheduled for? Who's Longneck? I don't know who that is. That's funny. Let me see. Yeah, so the problem I'm having now, I'm so used to having dozens and dozens of people in here where the comments are scrolling so fast I can't even read it, that I think I'm gonna can have that automatically. Like I just got used to it. Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't really collect, but I just found some at a yard sale this past week, and my aunt was gonna oh, let's list them on Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, no, I need to keep some. I got a Chewbacca in his case, but found this Darth Vader. It's got dog hair all over it. And then this was the remote controlled smart R2D2 from 10 to 16 years ago. The app is no longer in service, but there's a way to remote control it with your phone. I just haven't looked into it yet. But I thought this guy was pretty sick. It was worth $70, and he sold it to me for like $3. I wouldn't consider myself a Star Wars nerd. The first three are some of my favorite movies of all time, and I've seen them dozens of times. But I don't really obsess over it in any other way. I haven't kept up on the newer movies or read any of the books or fan fiction or any of that stuff. But it's cool. I love yard sales and garage sales, estate sales. I love to find interesting things, furniture, electronics, and kitchen stuff. Anyway, have a great day. I'll see you on these YouTube streets. Come to my concert hangout thingies, even just to troll me and tell me I suck. I'd really appreciate it. Like I said, it's not like a plea. Well, I want to have a big channel. It's like I just need the feedback, good or bad or neutral. All right, guys. Dehumidifier. What? That's crazy. I have a humidifier, but what's a dehumidifier? I gotta find a better one. I found one at a yard sale that puts out this big, thick clouds of wet vapor, but it only lasts for 10 minutes. I need something to run through the whole night, 8 to 10 hours for my allergies. So it's not so dry and stale in here. I can't even open the window to get fresh air. Um, the allergy clinic turned me away because they can't wean me off Benadryl. So it's like a catch-22 situation that I'm in. I can't get the allergy shots that, you know, build up in your system. Yeah, I think that's right. A dehumidifier would suck all the life out of the room. It would like do the opposite. That'd be pretty crazy. All right, guys, have a good one. Check out my playlist. Check out my shorts. It's the most pain-free, easy way to experience me in small chunks. All right, guys. But yeah, I don't know how to promote my stuff to save my life.